Well, welcome. Today, I will be speaking to the topic of body count. An individual's body count, be it male or female, and why it matters. I'll provide you with some information that I think might be useful in understanding why your number, whatever that number might be, could matter, but also why it should matter, irrespective of whether you are a man or a woman. Without further ado, let me start by saying the following. I have found over my lifetime that I have struggled with remembering things, and the more simple things are made, the easier it is for me to recall such information. Some time ago, I came up with what I consider to be a really useful formula for remembering how to ensure that you're maintaining a healthy weight. Today, I will give a similar formula for what your body count should be. Now, let me start by saying this so you can understand where I'm coming from. Generally speaking, I speak to men. And I speak to three groups of men, with one group primarily as my focus. Those who are below 18 are the first group. And they are also the least important group from my perspective for a number of reasons. Firstly, there should be a parent. You should have a guardian, a parent, someone who you look up to. Because you're still young, you're not an adult, and so therefore, I do not consider listening to someone who is a stranger to be the right and first step, except when there isn't someone to guide you. The second group is between 18 years and 35, which for men are your prime years to lay the right foundations to whatever life you want to lead. And then 35 and above, adults. I don't pay much attention to men who are 35 and above because I think, whilst that might be of value to you, you are a man and you have been emancipated. You've had the opportunity to lay the right foundations, and therefore you should be able to look after yourself. Now, this means that the middle group, 18 to 35, is my main focus. The same applies to women. The same groups apply to women as well. The body count matters, in this case slightly, whilst I'm providing the information, applies more to the first group. Because if you're 18 and above, you are an adult, and there is a high probability that everything I say, especially if you are a woman, you would find it to be slightly uncomfortable. My focus is to catch and to capture the innocent ones who haven't started the journey of sexual exploitations and sexual pursuits, with the intention and the hope that perhaps they can think again. Your body count is simply the number of people you have been intimate with physically, specifically sexually. It doesn't mean romantic engagements for which there were no sexual activities. Kissing someone and fondling someone, being emotionally and mentally engaged in a relationship with someone does not count as a body count. The first word is body, the second is count, meaning how many bodies have you carried? Or how many bodies can we count that have been and that have had sexual intercourse activities with you? Now, let me start with the woman, and as I go forward, I will explain why woman's body count is different to a man's body count, and why society views it very, very differently. I've given you the definition of a body count. The question is, what should it be? What is the formula for understanding whether your body count is way too high, or whether it's within reason, or whether it's something not to be bothered about? I do not believe that there is such a thing as having too low a body count. You are either within range or you're out of range. Again, my focus would be young women who are below 18, ideally. Now, I would hope that if you disagree with me, perhaps you can have a conversation with your father, your mother, your guardians, your loved ones, maybe your pastor, your priest, your rabbi, and see whether he also disagrees with me if you are below 18. Now, the formula that I use is a simple one. You take your age, you subtract from your age 18, and what the number you get, you divide by 2. That is, and that should be, the maximum limit of your body count. So let's make it more practical. If you're 28 years, a woman or female, 28 years, it would mean that you have 28 less 18, which will give you 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. The maximum limit of your body count, or what would be considered as within range, would be 5. If you're 18, it would be 18 years less 18 years, which is 0. You wouldn't have to make any division. It just simply means you've just started the journey. Now, let me explain why I use 18 rather than what is considered to be the age of consent. In every country, there is an age of consent, a legal age of consent. In the UK, that age of consent is 16 years, and therefore from age 16, the government has made a decision that it's acceptable, providing that the interaction between the said parties are agreed upon. There's no coercion, there is no threat, there is no force. The age of consent in the UK is 16. In other countries, you would find that this age of consent will vary from about 14 and it will go up to about 18. It varies. Now, the state's position on consent is often overlaid with the religious position on consent. In any case, it's not my intention to talk about religion. I choose 18 for a number of reasons. It's the age at which you become an adult. Choices come and have always come with costs, constraints, consequences, and trade-offs. At a young age, young people have not developed, especially if they haven't been guided properly. They have not been given what I call the tool sets in order to know how to think deductively and inductively, how to think based on a short-term benefit and then juxtapose that short-term benefit with or alongside a long-term consequence. And therefore, I prefer to use the age of consent of 18 years because that's when you're legally an adult. To drive a car in the United Kingdom, you need to be 17. Now, you can apply for your provisional license at roughly 16 and 9 months or 16 and 6 months, but you can start at 17. Driving a car, whilst important, is not as significant as becoming a mother at age 16. So 18 for me is my formula. Now, you may disagree with my formula, but it is my formula. Your age, less 18, irrespective of where you are in the world, take that difference and divide it by 2. That is the range of acceptability, the maximum range of acceptability for your age. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise, although it will, but it shouldn't come as a surprise, because if you've been raised with the right value system and morals and ethics and the right level of decorum, especially in regards to dating, interactions with the opposite gender, one of the early things you learn will be, as a woman, your purity is where your value is hidden. Now, I should apologize because I haven't explained the concept between price, value, and worth. We conflate those definitions even within the area of business. Sometimes we say something's price is the same as its worth and its value. They are not the same thing. A price is what you exchange for what you want. And generally speaking, the price is dependent on a number of factors. The currency of exchange available and the quantity of the said product available. So demand and supply is the key driver to pricing. If you have excess supply and little demand, the price will go down. So as we've deregulated the sexual marketplace, and as we've disintegrated and decentralized sexual relationships, we've made sex into a commodity. Therefore, the price for sex is next to nothing today. Now, it doesn't mean that sex does not have a value. The value of sex and the inherent value of sex should be, what does it produce? All things remaining equal. So, to one person, sex may not have much worth to them, maybe because they have no interest. But it doesn't reduce the value of sex, generally speaking. To another person, the price they pay for sex does not always reflect the value of what they receive from sex. So, if sex becomes too easy to get for men, then we assign a lower price to sex. Therefore, whilst we recognize that sex has value as a man, the woman's value decreases if she offers sex too easily. Really that simple. Again, I do not suggest that you agree or accept what I'm saying, but I would hope that you do not reject what I'm saying. Don't reject it. Don't accept it on face value. And I would make one more request. Don't neglect the lesson. Take the information you're hearing from me, as jarring as it might sound, especially depending on your sexual orientation. Take the information and ponder on the information. If you disagree with that information, then by all means, you can let me know, or you can come up with your own formula. Now, this allows me to move a little bit further into why sex is of value and how to think about how your body count is intrinsically connected to your value as a woman. Now, I'm speaking within the female lens currently. I will get